For centuries, Egypt has been a land of sun, stone, and secrets. Within its grand temples, priests held sway, guarding truths behind walls of incense and ceremony. History remembers the pharaohs and gods, but what about the women who stood beside them? I'm not just talking about queens. I'm talking about the royal daughters, priestesses, and holders of a powerful office, the god's wife of Amun. These women weren't just decorative figures, they were central to Egypt's religious and political life. But a dark rumor has taken root online, painting a picture of violent rituals and exploited temple virgins. Today, we're going to separate fact from fiction. So what was the real story? Priests, the gatekeepers of the divine, needed these women to fulfill specific roles. They were expected to embody purity and perform sacred rites that reaffirmed the pharaoh's divine authority. Think of it this way: certain women became living vessels for goddesses in elaborate ceremonies. This was as much about politics as it was about spirituality. Placing a royal daughter in a powerful temple role was a clever way for a pharaoh to ensure the priesthood's loyalty. The inscriptions and archaeological finds confirm this was a strategic political maneuver. But here's where the whispers and viral videos get it wrong. Sensationalist content loves to blur the lines, twisting symbolic rituals into tales of horrific abuse. These claims get a lot of clicks, but they sacrifice historical accuracy for modern outrage. Good scholarship tells a different story. The purity required was about ritual cleanliness, not a lurid fantasy. Women in these roles underwent strict purification rites, periods of seclusion, and performed public ceremonial duties. It was a life of immense discipline and status. So, how did these women experience their lives? For many, temple service offered prestige, independence, and influence that might have been unattainable through marriage. The office of the god's wife of Amun, for example, became a major political force, controlling vast estates and wealth. These weren't victims. They were powerful figures in their own right. Of course, for others, being sent away to a temple could have felt like a form of control, a gilded cage designed to serve the ambitions of their fathers and brothers. The reality is complex. A mix of sacred duty, political power, and personal sacrifice. The real power of the priests wasn't in physical violence, but in their control over the narrative. They managed temple property, dictated religious rites, and decided who could serve. This control could be seen as protection, but it could also be a form of exploitation. Depending on the era and the individual's circumstances, history is rarely a simple story of good versus evil. If you came here looking for scandal, you'll find that most viral claims are just that, claims, designed to shock rather than inform. But if you came for the real story, you're in the right place. The truth lies not in a single, dramatic secret, but in carefully examining the evidence, the inscriptions, the titles, and the archaeology. These temples were mirrors of their society, where politics and myth were deeply intertwined. The real story is a layered history of reverence and control, devotion and strategy. If you want to dive deeper into the actual evidence and inscriptions, let me know in the comments. We can break down the primary sources in a future video. For now, subscribe for more journeys into the real history behind the legends. Thanks for watching.